Listen to this very carefully. This may be the most important video I have ever posted. I'm serious about that. I'm actually in a hotel in Melbourne, Australia, but this was so important I wanted to record it even before I got back home to California. If you're experiencing tremendous pressure, stress, it could be financial, you don't have enough money, things aren't working out for you in your life, listen very carefully. This is what they should have taught us in elementary school, junior high, high school. This is what our parents should have taught us. I don't know your background, but I didn't grow up with a perfect background. I didn't grow up with, I was born to a single mom. My dad was in prison, lived my teenage years, a lot of them in a mobile home. And so what I'm about to tell you is like literally what I've spent my life up to this point learning from 5 millionaire mentors, learning from traveling the world, building businesses, learning from talking, a lot of it through social media with millions of people and interacting with this world about health, wealth, love, and happiness. Look, if you do not have a roadmap to success, I can pretty much predict your future. People always come to me, Tai, I want to be successful. I'm like, answer a few questions, I'm going to predict your future. Who'd you learn from? Who are you learning from now? Tell me about your upbringing. Those 3 basic questions, I can predict the future. People don't like to hear that because they're like, no, I'm special, Tai, I'm special. Man, once you step out the door, like Chris Rock, the comedian, says, once you step out the door of your house, nobody cares about you. This is a big, bad world out there. If you're broke, nobody's going to put money in your bank account for you. Maybe you win the lottery, you be one of the billion. Are you going to hold out for that? No, I'm going to give you a formula. I'm going to give you what I call the 12 foundations. There's 12 things they should have taught us in school. 12 things. 0 was taught in school. Literally 0. 3 things about health, 3 things about wealth, 3 things about love, and 3 things about happiness. These 12 things, if I had known them when I was 19 years old, graduated high school, my life would be 10 times better than it is now. And I have an okay life now. If you're struggling, you must learn these 12 foundations. You must. It's not even optional. It's basically like, here's your 2 paths in life. Life can suck, or you can follow the 12 foundations. Now, some people go, oh, well, there's people succeeding in life, and do they know about these 12 foundations? Well, they're doing them without knowing it. Everybody who follows the 12 foundations has a badass life, and all the 12 that don't. It's that the people that don't follow the 12 don't. It's literally that simple. Why can I say it that black and white? Well, and how do I know it's exactly 12? Well, maybe it's 16, maybe it's 8. The point is, you ever heard of the book 7 Habits of Highly Successful People? That's about business. The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. But life's not only about business and making money. You got to know how to read people. You have to know psychology. You have to know health, right? You have to know happiness, managing anxiety, procrastination, regret, all that stuff. That's why I say it's more than 7. So I've compiled it down into 12 things. Let me go over some of them. I don't know if I have time to do all 12. To really explain all 12 takes a little while. Probably take at least 12 hours. I don't have that much time right now. You probably don't either. Let's start with money. So basically one of the foundations is you have to know how to pick your career, period. Now for some of you, your career, like me, is to be an entrepreneur, run your own business. Some of you, it's to work for somebody else. That doesn't even matter at this point in the juncture. One of the 12 foundations, maybe the most fundamental foundation, is selecting your occupation. You will spend the majority of your life in some sort of occupation. Okay? If you work 8 hours a day, no other single activity, not marriage, not time with your kids, time with your friends, watching football, whatever. Nothing compares with career, and there's basically 0 preparation. So people just grow up and they're like, oh, my dad worked for the post office, I'll do that. Or they stumble into a job. Oh, I need money, so I'm going to drive Uber and then this. And they just like kind of randomly go from thing to thing. Even entrepreneurs, I see it. Even entrepreneurs making big money, they don't like what they do because they just randomly chose. They're like, oh, it looks like that'll make me money. My friend sells clothes online. I'll sell clothes online. I don't really care about clothes, but I'll do it to make money. That's the wrong way to do it. There's an exact formula, okay? And it's basically like you can draw concentric circles. And you have to find where all these intersect. Strengths, your background. You can use some cognitive quizzes and things like this. And you can use... But let me just go back to that thing about strengths. See, people get very delusional about what their strengths are. Like, oh, Ty, I'm good at everything, so I don't know what career I should do. It's not what you think you're strong at. It's relative to other people. So I'm good at basketball compared to somebody who's worse than me. But relative to pro basketball players, I'm not good enough to play. And so one of the things they should have taught us in school, and one of the 12 foundations that I had to learn over many years, because I've started different businesses. My first business was in agriculture, grass-fed beef, first business. Had a consulting business. I owned nightclubs all around North Carolina. I invested in real estate, still do, real estate investor. I started a wealth management company that's still going, 6,000 clients, manage money for individuals. I did obviously a lot of internet stuff and social media. I own a company called Mentor Box, which we just signed a contract with Walmart. We have the largest nonfiction book shipping company in the world. So I've done all these businesses. And yet, in hindsight, I could have gotten to where I am 10 times faster if someone had taught me the 12 foundations. So I just want to tell you the good news and the bad news. The good news is if you're under tremendous pressure, stuff seems to not be working out for you, the good news is there's light at the end of the tunnel if you go down the right tunnel. There is a solution. There is a better day for you. I've seen it. I've been broke, and then all of a sudden I've made $1 million in a day. I made $1 million in an hour before. And I've been completely broke, sleeping on a couch in a mobile home. So I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I can tell you there's light at the end of the tunnel. But when you go down the wrong tunnel, which is what most people are being led down in this modern world, it's only darkness there. People go, oh, things will get better. No, if you go down the wrong tunnel, there's no light. So I got to get, and this is the reason I'm recording this, is I get about 10,000 snaps, Instagram DMs, all that per day. And I see, man, that people are hurting. Twitter. I posted a Twitter, and it was like controversial. I said, if you're not traveling 4 times a year, like you're missing out on one of life's greatest pleasures. And people were like, but Ty, we're broke. We can't even travel once in 10 years. And so I feel the pain of the world. So I was like, I gotta lay this out simpler. Not everybody has time. I've spent over a decade. I started when I was a teenager as an entrepreneur, traveling the world, learning from mentors, reading books, and experimenting with my own businesses. And I've been lucky enough to meet some of the greatest minds in the world, billionaires, top entrepreneurs, people that have reached the top. And I've asked them this same question, and that's how I came up with this 12 foundations. So like I said, the 12 foundations, there's 3 things you got to know about health. There's 3 things you have to know about wealth. There's 3 things you have to know about love, friends, family, romance, and there's 3 things you have to know about happiness. If you can keep these 12 things as your central guide to life from today forward, I promise you this, you will revolutionize your life so much that when your friends meet you 6 months from now, 12 months from now, you will be unrecognizable in every area. Health, wealth, love, and happiness. I know how to make money. Like I said, I've made $1 million in an hour. But if you don't have the other 3 things, health, love, and happiness, then it's all empty. On the other side, I've had love before, but no money. And then you're so stressed out. What's the number 1 cause of divorce? Financial stress. And I've seen people who have love and who have wealth and even have health. They got a 6-pack, but they have massive anxiety or depression even. Because depression can come even with all those other things. So you got to manage all 4 of these things. And each of them, like I said, I divide into 3. So 4, 8, 4, 8, 12. 3. Blah, blah. 3, 6, 9, 12. Right? There's 4 things with 3 inside of them. My math. I am shocked as I look back on my life and go, I didn't know those 3. I didn't know those 3. I didn't know those 3. And I knew those 3. So I knew like 3 out of 12. There was 9 things missing in my life. So life kind of sucked. And there was a time when it was even worse. I only had 3 of them. I was young. I was healthy. But I had no wealth. I didn't have the 3 foundations of wealth in my life. I didn't have the 3 social ones. Love, romance, we could say. Friends. And family wasn't working right. I had a messed up family. Friendships weren't right. I was friends with the wrong people. Social life was messed up. And I've had all 9 and not the last 3. Happiness, overcoming anxiety, procrastination, regret, depression. How do you actually be happy? Because really the 12 foundations, like the first 9 are just building for the 12th, the 10th, 11th, and 12th. So you got a choice. Life's at a crossroads at every moment. Like I said, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but the whole world's going down the road, the wrong tunnel. How many people do you know that really have the 12 foundations operating in their life? You look at them physically, they're healthy, they're fit, they're eating right, they're sleeping, they feel good physically. They take pride in their body, they look good. They got the 3 pillars of wealth going, right? They're in the right career or entrepreneurship activity. They selected correctly. They have active investment and passive investment, because those are 2 different things. So active investment is like you're making money with, let's say, your job or your entrepreneurial job, right? Career. Passive investment is while you sleep, money's being made for you in real estate, in the stock market, maybe in cryptocurrency, the new thing, right? So how many people do you know that have those 3? Health, the 3 parts of health, which is basically diet, weights or resistant training, and all the supplement side of things. They have that, so their body's good. Their bank account's good, the next 3. Then you go to the next 3. Friends, family, romance. All 3 of those are rock and rolling. You look at them, they got the best dating life or marriage. They've got the best friendship, social circle, best business partners, their relationship. They've weeded out the bad people. It's just like amazing. And then on top of that, they got the last 3, of the 12 foundations. The last 3 are like, they take all the first 9 and they just make them beautiful. The happiness side of things, where people just like, I've had different times in my life, man. Literally, I've had times. I remember good years and bad years. Like 2011 was a crappy year. I didn't like 2011. I had weird things with business partners. Didn't see eye to eye. I remember waking up and feeling stressed. And I worked on those 3 of the 12 foundations, and I remember, amazingly, like revolutionizing and waking up so peaceful and happy. That's the ultimate test, by the way. When you wake up, do you feel stressed? Is your mind racing? Like, I just woke up and I was just like, I feel good. But it didn't last, because I didn't understand, even at that time in 2012-ish, around then, I didn't understand. It was kind of luck that those 3 of the 12 foundations were operating in my life. You have to have a system. It's almost like a daily routine. You got to have the correct daily routine, the correct mental routine. Now, some people say, well, Tai, what you're talking about is all about the mind. This is all in the mind. Well, the 12 foundations aren't just about the mind. They're also about income and making money and filling up your bank account and, your body. They're like practical things too. But yeah, like most of human life is in the mind. There's people who are millionaires and billionaires and who commit suicide. One of the wealthy, De Beers, the guy who started the diamond company, one of the wealthiest people in history. When he sold the De Beers company, the diamond company, he jumped off a boat, committed suicide. The guy who started Victoria's Secret, now one of the biggest brands in the world, he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. I'm telling you, I know people that are wealthy but so fat, they can't enjoy it. They lost their health. They can't even fit in a Ferrari. I know people that are so happy and they got great love life, but their bank account sucks, so they're always stressed. Like the 12 foundations, mark my words, one day, this is what will be taught in schools. This is what will be taught in universities. Not because I've compiled these 12 things. Like they'll probably be transformed and people will put their own modifications. But I'm telling you, you are witnessing this video, and I wanted to record it because I wanted to mark this day and say, let me hand you the 12 foundations, because I can think of no greater gift that I could give myself if I had a time machine. If I was 19 again, man, I go back, give myself this video from, I'm here in Melbourne, Australia. I was speaking at a conference with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if I could just hand this video to myself and then give myself like 12 hours of training, like 1 hour per video, roughly. I mean, 1 hour per foundation. That's it. That's like what I would do. I would do that more than give myself business tips, more than give myself $1 million to invest in my own business. Once you get the mindset right, things start to fall in place. And if the mindset's not right, nothing works. You need the 12 foundations. 3 about health, 3 about wealth, 3 about love, 3 about happiness. You know, I wonder why I didn't record these 12. I just yesterday I was recording the video training for one of the 12 foundations, and I was talking to my cousin, and I was like, I'm almost depressed recording this. She's like, why? I'm like, because why didn't someone tell me this? I was recording about controlling your social circle, how to build your social circle correctly. You know the saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your income's the average of the 5 people that are closest to you in your social circle, all that. And I was like, why didn't they tell us that in school? Like, why was I learning geometry? Like, geometry is good, but how about the geometry of my social circle? You know, why was I learning pre-calculus and calculus and algebra? Why didn't they teach me, like, how to invest in the stock market or invest in real estate? That's math, but it's practical. It applies. The 12 foundations, these apply to, and they will begin to change your life today and this week. For those of you that start watching the 12 foundational, it will begin to change you. You can watch, I mean, if you have time, you can watch all 12 in 1 week. I guarantee you, you're going to be like me. You're going to be happy and depressed at the same time. Happy because all of a sudden your life starts to change. Your income starts to change. You start to do what you love and make money doing it and make more money doing it. Your social circle starts to improve. Your love life starts to improve. Your body starts to improve. You wake up happier, less stressed, less depressed. So on that side, you're going to be like jumping for joy. On the flip side, you're going to start to have a little bit of anger. I'll talk about that in the training. How to deal with the anger where you want to look at your family and friends and teachers and say, wait, you said you cared about me. How come you didn't teach me? How come some guy on social media recording from his hotel room in Australia is the first person to lay this out in just this simple, systematic way, transformational way? I'm going to tell you this right now. I'll give a little hint. Just forgive them. No one taught them. I've had to do that and just go, man, it's BS. But you know what? Live and let live. Just move on and be glad that you learned it now.